There has been a lot of misunderstanding as of late. As I work on myself as an individual, I have come to realize many things. I have a lot to offer. I'm intelligent, empathetic, well-traveled, a great writer, and a good problem solver. Yet, I never let myself feel proud of my accomplishments. I lift others up around me, but I never do the same for myself. As part of my process of self-improvement, I have decided that I need to acknowledge my achievements more. One should be proud of their accomplishments. Doing so detracts nothing from the accomplishments of others. I am always dimming my own light so others can shine, and it chips away at you in the long run. I also noted that when men pat themselves on the back for something they've achieved, the world doesn't bat an eye. It's a given. When a woman does it, she is attacked, berated, and accused of being egomaniac. It's an outdated mentality. So from now on, I will do my best to show pride in myself, my life, and my work. The people who know me best know this is a big step for me. For people who know me from the show and are always offering love and support, thank you as well. And to the other fans of the show who offer nothing but cruelty and contempt, I want to thank them too. Without your interest, there would be no show and I wouldn't have a platform. Thank you for helping me grow, each one of you in your own unique way. So I already decided to post this, I believe probably about a week ago. And then she decided to make another post after Biniyam made an appearance at the halftime show. Well, I say he made an appearance. He appeared on top of a lamppost where we didn't actually know he was there until he posted on social media that he was there with pictures and videos of him in the backstage area. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Before we get into the post that Ari then makes around that time of being on a halftime show, just want to talk a little bit more about this one itself in particular. So, as you've obviously heard, she's talking about accomplishments. Talking about how it's been hard for her throughout, I guess, her life to even acknowledge when she's made such good achievements. And don't get me wrong, I'm one of these people that I'm the same. Or at least once upon a time was definitely the same. Go out there, do so many things, achieve so many things, but they never actually recognize them until I felt like, hold on a minute, why am I not actually recognizing the greatness that I have done in my life? Why do I feel the need to focus on the negatives, And for some of us, the negative is our fuel due to our own trauma, okay? But in reality, we do need to acknowledge our achievements, so therefore we can continue to move forward and grow with a mind that actually notices and sees that we're doing great, rather than a mind that blinds us from the fact that we're doing great. Because when we don't feel or recognize that we're doing great, that means we will never be enough for ourselves. So we have to recognize these things, so therefore we are enough for ourselves, not enough for anyone else, for ourselves. Because there's a lot of us in this story feel like we need to become enough for our parents, for our children, for our friends, for our partners, when in reality all we need is just to be enough for ourselves. So therefore, regardless of how other people view us, we can never be disappointed. All right, that's the long run type of feeling there. That's how we should be programmed, and that's how I've been programming myself for the last few years. But here's the thing though, when it comes to Ari, there's one little thing here that I want to touch on a little bit more. She says, I also noted that when men pat themselves on the back for something they've achieved, the world doesn't bat an eye. It's a given. When a woman does it, she's attacked, berated, and accused of being an egomaniac. It's an outdated mentality. I don't know why she felt the need to actually bring up the comparison between men and women, because this comment itself in particular is very subjective. Because I could sit here and tell you a story about how when I've tried to pat myself on the back, there's been plenty of people around me to put me down, okay, or to attack me, to berate me. I could talk about that, but those things aren't relevant. Why? Because I have to be enough for myself. So really and truly, Ari needs to learn to be enough for herself and not worry about the fact that she's a woman who gets attacked if she does these great things here, there, and everywhere. Okay, because at the end of the day, it means that you do things for the purpose of seeking approval and acceptance from others rather than doing it because it's something that makes you feel internally amazing. All right. Now here's the thing. I'm going to link this up now to another post she made. Okay, like I said before, Biniyam obviously appeared at the halftime show when Kendrick Lamar performed, and obviously because he was there, he decided to come to social platform. So did Ari, and they wanted to display that. Guess what? He'd obviously made it there, and this is something that definitely created a little bit of controversy because people were sitting there saying, "Why is Ari out here trying to, take credit or trying to say that we both made it when it was just Biniyam?" All right. Now, bear this in mind, okay? Let's talk about the show. She talks about the show, right? Even in this post in particular. But why would people believe that she's trying to reign in this parade? Why would people believe that she's trying to claim that it is us when all we've seen from these two is nothing but a divide? Let's talk about that divide. In fact, let me show you that divide.
Ari, she's stuck like in the past 5 years, They have so many anger. We can't talk about it, like the situation. Me, I wanted to practice the therapy because I want to miss this opportunity.
So here's the thing, okay? In the most recent episode, we witnessed Ari, pretty much have somewhat of a hissy fit. Okay, she was very upset with the fact that whenever she's tried to voice anything that she's felt when it comes to Biniyam, nobody's been there to support her on the show. But when it came to Sophie voicing her concerns on Rob, others were there to support her. Okay, and because this caused her to storm off, and now we've got Biniyam obviously talking about she's stuck in the last 5 years. I mean, listen, to be honest with you, just to touch on this little topic itself in particular, if I am Biniyam now, and I know that the person that I decided to marry, the person that I decided to have a child with, was stuck 5 years ago because of something that I did, but I haven't actually admitted to doing it, you know what I would do? If I clearly care about that person, did love that person at once upon a time, I'm going to be truthful with them. For what reason though? To give them the closure that they need to move on. And also, most importantly, so they don't keep this information weighing over my head, for the rest of my life. I mean, obviously there was one little comment that was made by one of the therapists towards Brandon and what's her name? And Julia. And one of the comments that was made is that, if Brandon decides to forgive Julia, he also needs to make sure that he never brings up the fact that she cheated ever again. Which, listen, respectfully, if you decide to forgive someone, if you decide to forgive someone with the intention of staying with them, it means you are not necessarily willing to let things go, but it definitely means you're willing to never bring it up again as a tool as an arsenal. Do you know what I mean? As a weapon of attack. All right. So, but here's the thing though. The situation with Benny and Ara is a bit different than that. This is a situation where this woman had been begging this man for 5 years, obviously by what he said here, okay, to do what? She's been begging him for 5 years to simply just tell her the truth, so she can have her closure, or I assume it's the closure she needs, and therefore she can obviously move on and know how to behave, obviously accordingly. Obviously, some people may say she doesn't want closure, she just wants, to prove a point that, he's this and that. And listen, to be honest with you, whatever her agenda is, it's actually not that relevant. What's more relevant is that they get this little chapter out of the way, and that is a chapter of Biniyam just being honest. But remember though, 5 years she's been stuck on this, okay? Now, here's the thing. Now, this is where we link this up to why people felt how they felt when Biniyam appeared on the halftime show and she said that we did it, and everybody was like, what do you mean we did it? You don't even like the man. All you've done is drag the man throughout the season. And respectfully, she's had every right to drag him for the right reasons. Well, at least I guess that's subjective, but nonetheless though. So here's the thing. In this post in particular, this is her pretty much responding on the IG to explain why she said we did it, we made it. Okay, so she starts off by responding and says, "Don't take my word for it. Ask Benny. I am his manager." I did find that quite interesting that she is actually still his manager, because this show was filmed literally over a year ago. And we've seen the challenge that these two have had throughout the season. And one of the challenges has been the fact that she won't give Biniyam his password so he can use his own social media accounts. Okay, but it seems as if they're still clearly, in business together. Whether they're together or not, it's a whole different conversation. But nonetheless, though, she continues and says, "We went on TV to help create a platform for Benny's career." We'll come back to that. I was never interested in being famous. I'm very camera shy. I am the one behind every gig application, every fight, and every performance. He brings the brawn and the talent, and I am the brains behind the operation. I edit his reels for his gigs, I craft and update his resume. I make sure he is on time to where he has to go. For years, I monitored his protein intake. I found that one very interesting. I'm thinking, hold on a minute. So when did Ari become a freaking nutritionist or PT or whatever No, I'm pretty sure he'd be a nutritionist, wouldn't it? Yeah. That I was like, huh? But anyway, but I'm pretty sure this man was in shape before she was in his life. But hey ho, whatever. Continues by saying, I set up the meetings and attend every one. I negotiate brand deals and contracts. I suss out the real opportunities from the fake and the good people from the sweet talkers. There are, that one says by the sweet talkers. So are you telling us that you're in control of the women that actually appear in these DMs? Interesting, but nonetheless, though, we continue. There are so many components. You may not like the way you see me on the show, but for the last 6 years, I've been caring and helping Benny to accomplish his dreams. See, this is the thing that I don't understand. Why would you still be helping him for the last 6 years if for the last 5 years, this man has made you feel less than? This man is put you in positions where your anxiety has been at the all-time high. And also, let's not forget, and listen, I'm not afraid to mention it, but Ari is somebody that has a history of self-harm, So you would think that she wouldn't actually put herself in a position to be with somebody that's going to give her such a headache. Why is it so important for her to stay by his side and help him achieve his goals? Given that for the past 5 years, this man has been he's been holding her back from her own closure, should we say. Let me know your thoughts on that one. But we continue here where she does say, I've been caring for him and helping Benny to accomplish his dreams, and I am damn proud of him and myself. At the end of the day, our platform was made possible by people like you caring enough to follow. Thank you for that. This is a huge moment for us, so thank you for caring enough to comment and for following our journey. I wish you well. So let's just go back to the top here, stuff in particular where she does begin, and she says, we went on TV to create a platform for Benny's career. I mean, I find that quite interesting. Because I'm pretty sure, when they first appeared on the show, I'm pretty sure they appeared on The Other Way, and I didn't see that season in particular, but I'm pretty sure the season they appeared on. And from what I've heard, when these two were actually on the show at the time, the intention of Biniyam actually coming to America, it wasn't really actually the plan originally. From my understanding, please do correct me if I'm wrong, which is one of the reasons why his sisters were so against Ari, because they didn't want her to take her brother away to the States, and Biniyam even wanted to stay in Ethiopia, from my understanding, until further notice, and until later on when he then decided that he was gonna want to come and actually, live in America with his wife and his child. And also on top of that, we did witness that once he arrived in America, Biniyam definitely made the whole arrival be about him visiting the big cities and him, put himself in positions where he can obviously, be seen by talent, so therefore he can really go out there and show his brawns and talents, as Ari says. I don't know, it's just something very interesting about what Ari says when she says that, we went on TV to pretty much, create a platform for his career. But whatever, okay, it is what it is. I mean, you folks let me know what your thoughts is on that or stuff in particular, okay? Now, also on top of that, I can understand obviously why, because she's obviously helped him apply for every single fight, performance, every single application, all that kind of stuff that she's done over the years. I can understand why, of course, when Benny made it onto the halftime show, she was obviously saying that I am proud of him and myself. And also relating to the first post, I guess, her putting it out there, she's also proud of herself is, a step forward of her actually acknowledging her accomplishments. And I guess that's why she wanted to obviously, to take the what do you call it? She wanted to join Biniyam in this excitement because of the opportunity that he obviously had to be there at the halftime show. But to be honest with you, I'm actually really surprised that people made it into such a big deal. Like the fact that she said that I'm proud of both. Actually, no, my apologies. I'm not surprised that people made it into a big deal purely because of how their relationship has been betrayed on the seasons so far, as I've shown you the clip. But also on top of that, how their relationship has always been betrayed. This is what I'm saying. It has never been betrayed in a healthy way that says that these two are a team. It has pretty much been betrayed as these two are never on the same bloody page. I mean, so much we even see scenes where Ari will go back to her ex to seek advice and whatnot. And then also on top of that, when they're not in season, we then see images of Benny with other women or with another woman. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of those things definitely came as a shock. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, though, I really want to know your thoughts on this matter stuff in particular. For me, you know, I just sat there and I read these two things, and then obviously I remember the season, and I was like, okay, well, this is why people are reacting the way they're reacting. The fact that Ari is ignoring that is kind of wild to me. She's talking as if like the problems that they have had and they've displayed on TV have never been displayed before. Do you see what I'm saying? Listen, I will never knock someone down for trying to, you know, for trying to actually recognize their accomplishments because they want to big themselves up. I'll never take that away from someone. That is a fantastic trait that everybody should inherit, because a lot of us have been through a lot in this life, and a lot of us have been programmed ourselves to believe that we should focus on the negatives, because the negatives allegedly overshadow the positives, which is one of the most dumbest things I heard in my life. The reality is that, you know, our negatives is what actually creates our positives, okay? Because when we go through something bad, we then find a positive to overcome that negative. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, if your mind is right, you will always remember and understand that positives always overcome negatives. You just got to put your mind in the right way for that to happen. But if your mind isn't right, then you're gonna believe the other nonsense of the fact that negatives overshadow flipping positives, right? Because that's just not, it's not a good mentality. I promise you now. Okay, you have got a responsibility to yourself to keep yourself in the right mentality or whatnot. But either way, though, I think with Ari and obviously Benny here, it's a very simple thing, you know, and that is, what is your thoughts? Let me know your thoughts on the matter itself in particular, but as far as I'm concerned, it's a whole kerfuffle. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. We'll talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.